Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Compliance Shots by LexComply. At LexComply, we continue to serve corporates on compliance matters in India as well as overseas. Today, we are pleased to welcome Mr. Manan Agarwal, who's a CA, chartered accountant, and a partner at KrayMan Consultants LLP, to discuss the new income tax law. A chartered accountant since 2007, Manan brings over 18 years of experience in tax, regulatory, and India entry consulting. He is widely recognized for helping multinational companies navigate India's complex compliance and business environment. With a diploma in information systems audit and certification in Japanese language proficiency, he combines technical expertise with a global outlook. At KrayMan, he leads a team dedicated to simplifying regulations and enabling businesses to succeed in India. We look forward to his valuable insights today. Welcome, Manan. Good to have
Thank you
you with
so much.
us.
Thank you, Jyoti.
So, um, so Manan, please tell us about the top five key changes brought in by the Income Tax Act of 2025.
All right. So, thank you once again. The key changes, if we talk about it in the new income tax law, Jyoti. So, the new law is not about a rate change or any substantial deviation from the existing 1961 Act. It is rather simplification of language, improving structural clarity within the law, reducing interpretational disputes, and aligning the drafting style with the modern global legislative standards. If we talk about the top few changes, I would say that first of all, the reductions in the number of sections and rules and forms is a significant move. More than 800 sections are there currently in the Income Tax Act 1961, and more than 500 rules are there, and 400 forms are there. The number of sections and rules have been reduced by around 35% each, and the forms have been reduced by more than 50%. Another significant change is introduction of a single tax year, which gives a relief to the taxpayers or assessees, or especially the multinational companies who have always been struggling to understand the difference between previous year and assessment year. So now simply the law talks about tax year, which in common parlance can be said about financial year. So income earned between April 26 to March 27 will simply be tax year 2026-27. Then the new rules and forms have been introduced, and the legacy forms which we were so accustomed to use, like say for example form 16, that has now been made to form 130, 130. So we have to change the habit which we have inculcated for so many years. Instead of saying TDS certificate on salary, we had the habit of saying form 16. We'll have to change that habit, which might be a bit challenging for us as tax professionals. And also, so many forms have been made more relevant and updated. So, for example, the form 3CA, 3CB, and 3CD, which were three different forms used for reporting tax audit findings. Now they have been made into a single form. So also the other forms have been rationalized, merged, or split intelligently. Then the allowance and perquisite valuations, when we talk about salary income, has been changed. Some certain changes have been there, where there have been various changes in the exemption limits, the monetary thresholds, which have since become outdated, as the last they were introduced were decades back. For example, children's educational allowance has been increased, hostel allowance has been enhanced, meal card and employer related perquisites have been revalued, etc. And then the last, if I may talk about it, the significant change has been a shift towards data driven and pre-filled compliance. There is greater reliance on data reported by third parties such as employers, banks, and institutions. So the government will have an easier access to cross verify the data filled by the taxpayers, and pre-filled ITRs, fewer manual claims. These again are an indication of government's intention towards moving the more digital and AI. So these are the key changes, Jyoti, in the new Income Tax Act 2025.
Thank you so much, Manan, for putting it so succinctly for us. And this is, I think I'm very excited about the fact that there is no previous year and whatever assessment year and financial year. That really confuses me. So, so they've really brought about some good simplifications, I think. So, okay, moving on. So these are the key changes that we have seen. So how do we transition to the new law? How is it being planned? Like, for example, till when is the old law applicable and when will the new law come in force?
Okay, so putting it very simply, transactions or income earned up till 31st March 2026 will be governed by the Income Tax Act 1961, and transactions or income earned on or after 1st April 2026 will be governed by the new Income Tax Act. So the filings and all for financial year 25-26 will continue to happen as per the old law. And if we talk about the realistic visible impact, I would say, of the new Income Tax Act in terms of reporting, especially, I think that is something which we'll be able to see in or around July 2027 onwards, except the TDS returns, withholding tax returns, which happen to be on a quarterly basis and will become effective from the current financial year onwards. But if we talk about annual filings, I think the visible impact will start from next year, mid of next year, 2027, when the tax returns start getting filed as per the new law, the annual tax
Okay.
returns.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. So this is actually a very interesting move, simplifying so much. I mean, income tax law has always been like one of the most complex laws as far as, well, I'm concerned. So to put it simply, the new Income Tax Act is all about making life easier for taxpayers. It clears up the old jargon and streamlines the way we file returns. So some interesting times here. So thank you for joining us today, Manan. It was wonderful having this conversation with you. And to our viewers, I'm sure you will appreciate the insights shared here. Do drop in your comments and feedback. For more such conversations on compliance, regulatory shifts, and industry insights, stay connected with us